Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at sources that map out, well, a true phenomenon. Cristiano Ronaldo, CR7 as everyone knows him.
Right. And our mission here, it's more than just, a rundown of his career. We're trying to dig out the blueprint, the essentials of how sheer determination really becomes destiny.
Exactly. We're looking past the highlight reels, the goals, the trophies.
It's to find that model for performing at a world-class level, not just for a season, but for decades.
For you, the listener, we're really dissecting how one guy reaches peak performance and just stays there, influencing things globally, year after year. We've got a stack of material covering his journey, from a kid on an island to, well, a global brand.
And the core theme, you see it everywhere in the sources.
Yeah.
Speed, power, but above all, discipline, just relentless discipline. His story is basically the ultimate case study, turning grit into this huge global name, this legend that just keeps going.
Okay, so let's start that journey back at the beginning where that grit first really mattered, the Madeira Foundation. You have to understand his origins to get the hunger.
Definitely. Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro, born February 5th, 1985, Funchal, Madeira, Portugal.
And the name Ronaldo, that's an interesting detail, isn't it?
It really is, because it hints at something bigger right from the start.
Yeah.
The sources confirm it, named after Ronald Reagan.
The U.S. president and actor.
Yeah, apparently his father was a fan. It kind of suggests a family maybe dreaming a bit bigger, even though things were tough.
And things were tough, very tough. He was the youngest of 4 kids, grew up poor. Opportunities were pretty limited.
His dad, Jose Dinas Ferrero, worked as a kit man for a local team, also a gardener. His mom, Maria Dolores, she was a cook, a cleaner. Hard work was just the reality.
So that drive to succeed wasn't just ambition, it was like almost a necessity.
Absolutely. That background fuels so much of what comes later. He started playing super young, like 7 years old, for Andorinha, a tiny local club.
Then moved to National, another team there.
Right. And even then, people were saying his talent was just obvious. You couldn't miss it despite everything else.
Which led to that huge step, moving to Lisbon, joining Sporting CP. He was only 12.
Yeah, and this is where the mental battle really kicks in, something the shiny photos don't always show.
It gets glossed over how hard that must have been.
Totally. The sources are clear. He was incredibly homesick. I mean, he's basically a kid living away from his family for the first time.
And then there was the accent issue.
Right. Teased constantly by the other kids, even some coaches apparently, for his Madeira accent. That takes serious mental strength to push through.
You'd have to be determined to prove them wrong, not just with skill, but by just dominating.
It could have easily broken him, but he seemed to channel it. And then at 15, this huge curveball, a medical issue, potentially career-ending.
A heart condition. It gets mentioned, but it sounds like it was really serious.
Oh, it was massive. Doctors found a racing heart condition. Technically, it sounds like it was a tachycardia, where the heart beats way too fast because of faulty electrical signals.
For an elite athlete, that's devastating.
Potentially, yes. Your whole career depends on cardiovascular performance. So the solution was critical.
What did they do? His whole future hung on this.
Right. They had to intervene quickly. Cardiac ablation surgery. Using radio frequency to basically destroy the tiny bit of heart tissue causing the problem.
Wow.
The sources all say this procedure literally saved his career.
Yeah.
And he was back training just days later, which tells you something about his physical recovery, sure, but mentally.
Must have changed how he thought about his body.
Absolutely. He learned incredibly early on that his body was this machine that needed, meticulous care. You couldn't take it for granted.
So once that hurdle was cleared, the professional career took off fast.
No looking back. Debuted for Sporting CP at 17. And that's the official start of the CR7 we know.
Which brings us right into phase 2, establishing dominance. Starting with Manchester United, the ignition phase.
Right, 2003 to 2009. This is where that raw talent, sometimes a bit wild, gets honed into a proper world beater. And it all kicks off with that legendary friendly match.
Sporting versus Man United, 2003. He just tore them apart, didn't he?
Completely. Sir Alex Ferguson, who had an amazing eye for talent, was apparently so blown away he basically said, "We're not leaving without him."
Signed him almost on the spot for $12.24 million. Which was a lot for a teenager back then.
A huge investment, and a decision that really shaped football for the next, 20 years?
And the pressure immediately ramped up. He gets the number 7 shirt.
Yeah, that's not just any number at United. Best, Cantona Beckham. It carries serious weight. history.
And reports say he felt it, cried from the nerves initially.
Yeah, the sources mention that. He arrived as this flashy kid, all step-overs, sometimes maybe too much dribbling, not enough end product early on.
But Ferguson guided him.
Exactly. He started blending that magic, the speed, the skills, with tactical sense, with actual results.
And the results came. 3 Premier League titles, FA Cup, League Cups, and the big one, the Champions League in 2008.
Scoring in that final against Chelsea, that was a statement. He wasn't just potential anymore. He was the main man.
Which led directly to his first Ballon d'Or, 2008, best player in the world. And he wasn't even 24 yet.
He'd conquered England. But if Manchester was the ignition, Real Madrid, that was the explosion, 2009 to 2018. This is where the stats just go into orbit.
Started with that world record transfer fee, 80 million.
Unheard of at the time. And the presentation was like a rock concert. 80,000 people packed into the Bernabeu just to see him hold up the shirt.
The expectation was immense.
Off the charts. And yet he scores in his debut, sets the tone immediately.
But it's the consistency over those 9 years that's just mind-boggling. The numbers.
It's almost unbelievable. The sources confirm it. 450 goals in just 438 games.
Wait, say that again? More goals than games?
Exactly. Averaging over a goal a game for 9 straight seasons at the highest level. It's why people call that record potentially unbreakable in modern football.
So how did he do that? What changed from the United winger to that level of goal machine?
It's a tactical evolution, definitely. He shifted, became less of a wide playmaker, more of a predator in the box, a lethal finisher.
Like a central striker almost.
Sort of, yeah. Or false nine sometimes. He focused his energy on that final action, became incredible in the air, timing his runs perfectly, less dribbling out wide, more efficiency near the goal.
And that ruthless efficiency led to insane numbers, like over 50 goals a season for 6 years straight.
6 consecutive seasons, just relentless output. That's dominance defined.
And the trophies piled up for Real Madrid, too. 4 Champions Leagues.
Yeah, 4 more Champions Leagues, plus 2 La Liga titles. He owned that competition.
Especially in 2014, breaking the single-season goal record in the Champions League, 17 goals.
He always seemed to find another gear on those big European nights, just thrived under the highest pressure.
Which is reflected in the individual awards. 4 more Ballon d'Ors while he was at Madrid.
Yep. 2013, 2014, 2016, 2017. And by the time he left, he was already Real Madrid's all-time top scorer. Still is.
And that whole era is kind of summed up by that celebration, isn't it? The see it.
Yeah. It became iconic. It started almost randomly in a preseason game, apparently. But it just captured that confidence, that power.
Yeah.
You saw it everywhere. It was the global signature of his peak Madrid years.
Speaking of confidence and adapting, that takes us nicely into Section 3, the age-defying stuff, his time at Juventus and that incredible physical discipline.
Right. The move to Juventus in 2018 for $100 million, that shocked a lot of people.
Why the shock? Was it the fee for his age?
Partly that, yeah. But also moving to Italy. Serie A was famously tough, very tactical, defensive. Nacho, he was in his mid-30s. Most forwards are declining by then.
But he went there almost to prove a point, conquer another league.
Exactly. It felt defiant, like I can still do this even here. And he did.
The numbers hold up. 101 goals in 134 games for Juve. That's still incredibly efficient, especially in Italy.
It really is. And he set records there, too. Fastest Juventus player to hit 50 Serie A goals.
And even in his last season, age 36, he was the league's top scorer.
Yep, 29 goals in 2021. To do that, he had to adapt again. Less raw speed, maybe, more intelligence, anticipation, movement, using that amazing leap he has.
And he won titles there, too. 2 Serie A Championships, Super Cups, named League MVP twice.
He delivered. Earned the respect of the Italian fans, who are notoriously hard to please, especially given the price tag and his age.
This whole period just underlines that phrase you hear with him. Age is just a number.
But that phrase only works because of the insane physical work behind it. We have to talk about the stats because they are genuinely startling.
Okay, let's get into them. The sources detail this stuff. Body fat consistently around 7%, even deep into his 30s.
7%. And muscle mass around 50%?
Put that 7% in context for us. What's normal for an athlete?
Well, it varies. But average pro athletes might be 10%, 15% body fat, maybe a bit lower for some. 7% is what you might see in like a sprinter or a Tour de France cyclist at their absolute peak.
But to maintain that year-round for 2 decades while playing football?
Is extraordinary. It means less inflammation, faster recovery, fewer muscle injuries. His sprint speed, even at 35, was still comparable to guys 10 years younger. It's the result of a program focused on everything. Strength, yes, but also flexibility, recovery, power maintenance.
And that's not just gym work. It's a whole lifestyle, right? This is the cost of that peak performance.
Oh, totally. It's 20/47, non-negotiable. Training maybe 5 times a day sometimes, the sources say. But also the diet, super clean, no junk.
And no alcohol, no smoking.
Still. Rigorous abstention. And then there's the sleep strategy.
The naps. That's always fascinated me.
Yeah, apparently it's structured, like 5 90-minute naps spread through the day, not one long sleep. It's designed to maximize recovery cycles, apparently.
It's treating the body like a Formula One car, basically. Every single input optimized.
Exactly. Food, sleep, movement.
Hmm.
It's all data. That's how you keep that 7% body fat and 50% muscle mass going for so long. It's extreme.
Okay, so after Italy, this incredibly disciplined machine goes back to Manchester United, August 2021, a nostalgic return.
Which started like a fairy tale, didn't it? Scored twice in his comeback game against Newcastle. Pure Hollywood.
And he finished that season as United's top scorer, 24 goals, won Player of the Month twice. Seemed like it was working.
Initially, yes. He proved he could still cut it in the Premier League. Even then, looked like a perfect final chapter in Europe.
But then it soured quickly. What happened?
The sources point to a few things. Constant changes in management at the club, poor results on the pitch, and crucially, a clash of standards, maybe.
He felt things weren't up to scratch compared to Madrid or Juventus.
That seemed to be his perspective. Issues with facilities, the overall direction, a feeling of stagnation, maybe a lack of respect from some quarters.
Which all boiled over into that very public exit.
Yeah, the tell-all interview with Piers Morgan in November 2022, that was a breaking point. An impartial look suggests his main points were about feeling let down by management and criticizing what he saw as outdated facilities and a lack of progress compared to his previous clubs.
It was definitely a dramatic end to his top-level European career, very different from his usual controlled image. But the desire to play, to break records, that clearly didn't stop.
Not at all. Which leads us straight into Section 4, his massive international career and this current phase of global expansion.
Let's talk Portugal first. His national team legacy is immense. Longevity and leadership seem key. Debuted way back in 2003, just 18.
And he just kept going. He holds 2 monster records in men's international football now. Most caps ever, over 200 appearances.
Over 200? That's incredible durability.
And he's the all-time top international goal scorer, more than 128 goals. To be the most present and the most prolific, it's staggering.
Took over the captaincy in 2008 and led them to that huge win, Euro 2016, their first major trophy.
Right. And that final against France kind of sums up his leadership, doesn't it? Gets injured early, has to go off.
But stays on the sideline, basically acting as a second coach. Pacing, shouting, motivating.
Exactly. Pure passion, pure will to win, even when he couldn't physically contribute on the pitch anymore. Then he led them to the Nations League win in 2019, too.
He's universally seen as Portugal's greatest ever, right? Elevating the whole team.
Without question. His standards, his presence, it just lifted everyone around him. And the big moments kept coming for him personally. That hat-trick against Spain at the 2018 World Cup.
Unforgettable. Pure genius under maximum pressure.
So after the Man United exit, the next chapter begins. Pioneering move to the Middle East, Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia, December 2022.
This was huge news. Not just a transfer, but a statement. The money involved was astronomical.
Yeah, the reported figures are wild, like $200 million a year. But that includes endorsements, promotional stuff. It was about him elevating the entire Saudi League's profile globally.
Massive pressure again, but he stepped right in as captain.
Immediately. And started delivering instantly. Scored a penalty early on, then hit that incredible 4-goal game against Al Wahda.
And the records just kept falling, even there. Fastest player to 50 goals in the Saudi Pro League.
But the stat that really blows my mind is from 2023. The year he turned 38, he was the world's top goal scorer across all leagues. 53 goals.
53 goals at 30.
At 38. While most players his age are long retired or winding down, it just confirms that the fire, the discipline, that 7% body fat commitment, it's still there. Doesn't matter the continent, doesn't matter the age.
Which brings us perfectly to the final section, the CR7 global phenomenon. Because he's way more than just a player now, he's a business.
A massive global enterprise. Consistently one of the highest paid athletes ever. And the first footballer, sources say, to break $1 billion in career earnings.
$1 billion. That's not just talent, that's serious business sense.
Absolutely. The CR7 brand itself is huge. Clothing, perfume, hotels. It's smart diversification.
Based on his image, fitness, style, luxury.
Exactly. The Pastana CR7 hotels. Lisbon, Madrid, New York.
Yeah.
Places he's strongly associated with. It's a long-term play, building assets beyond his playing days. Smart.
And then there's the digital footprint, the influence. Most followed person on Instagram.
By a mile. Over 600 million followers last I checked.
That's more people than live in North America.
Think about that leverage. When a brand partners with him, they get direct access to this enormous global audience. It's why Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people. It's pure reach.
And he can connect directly in multiple languages too. Portuguese, Spanish, English fluently. That helps globally.
Big time. Less need for translation, more direct connection with fans, media, partners.
Beyond the business, though, the sources do highlight his philanthropy.
Yeah, he's known for being generous, donating millions over the years, children's hospitals, charities. There's that story often mentioned about him paying for a kid's brain surgery. Seems like he does a fair bit quietly, too.
And manages all this while having a big family life. 5 kids.
Right. Cristiano Jr., the twins Eva and Mateo, and then his daughters Alana Martina and Bella Esmeralda with Georgina Rodriguez. Juggling that with the extreme demands of his career must be intense.
We can't really wrap this up without touching on the rivalry that defined an era. Him and Messi.
You just have to mention it. It wasn't just a rivalry. It was like they fueled each other, pushed each other to heights no one thought possible. Statistically, physically, the whole sport benefited.
And it all comes back to that core philosophy, doesn't it? Discipline, belief, persistence, maybe mattering even more than just raw talent over the long haul.
His journey is proof. Hard work, non-negotiable dedication. That's what shapes destiny. It makes that famous quote of his so potent.
Your love makes me strong. Your hate makes me unstoppable.
Exactly. It's not just trash talk. It's like a mental strategy, turning criticism into fuel, weaponizing doubt.
So wrapping it all together, we've seen this kid from Madeira, teased for his accent, nearly stopped by a heart issue, transform into this global force who basically rewrote the rules of athletic longevity.
He's not just a footballer anymore. He's an idea. A living example of what happens when talent meets absolute, terrifying discipline.
What really hits home, though, and maybe this is the thing to leave you, the listener, with, is the cost, the sheer commitment needed to maintain that physical peak, the 7% body fat, the 50% muscle for 20 years.
It's not just dedication. It's restructuring your entire life around optimization, maybe sacrificing spontaneity, maybe sacrificing comfort. Constantly.
So it makes you ask yourself, right, about your own goals, your own field. If you wanted to maintain your peak performance, not just for a year, but for 2 decades, what would that extreme discipline look like for you?
What daily trade-offs, what non-negotiable routines, what level of sacrifice would be required? What goal are you willing to chase with that kind of relentless focus, ignoring the critics, ignoring the clock, well into your late 30s or beyond? That's the real challenge embedded in the CR7 story.